21st Century Entrepreneurship with Martin Piskarik.
Imagine the potential of your brand fully realized. BrandMultiplier.ai unlocks each brand's true potential by synergizing artificial intelligence with human creativity. We deliver enterprise-grade strategy and creative, rooted in 30 years of proven expertise at a fixed monthly cost that is 3 to 10x less than a typical agency of this caliber. Hi, my name's Chris Rubin. I'm the founder of Brand Multiplier. I grew up around attorneys and English teachers, and this cultivated a love of reading and building stories from my very earliest memories. I also was into computers. When I got my first computer at age 7, I was writing text adventure games in BASIC, and I was fascinated by this idea that I could talk to computers to get the machines to do my bidding. And so I pursued computers and language and storytelling, eventually fell in love with the science behind the brain, neuroscience and psychology. How do you tell a story that truly resonates and sparks an emotional response? So I ended up becoming an agency copywriter. Strategy, story, brand, what is that? How is that built? And I pursued that for decades, eventually landing in Silicon Valley, where I happened to be at the right place at the right time, and neural networks were becoming a thing. 2012, there was the big breakthrough with AlexNet, and I knew people at Google and HP and Intel, and I could tell this was the future. But there was still a long way to go. And I was working on big tech brands in the Valley. And eventually I decided that I wanted to help the little guys, the challenger brands. And I have my agency going, had some success there. And then in November of 2022, GPT 3.5, got my hands on that. And within 3 weeks, I knew that this was going to revolutionize any business that was sharp enough to figure out how to deploy it effectively. And that's what I'm here to talk about today. I'm excited to discuss the massive benefits of AI for SMBs to grow their business. So let's just set the context here a little bit. A recent study by MIT shows that about 92% of large companies are achieving returns on their investments in artificial intelligence. And the same percentage, 92%, are increasing their AI investments in the years to come. So what does that mean? That means that enterprises with unlimited budgets have proven the model here. And so now it's time for small to medium-sized businesses to reap some of the benefits for yourselves. Those include cost savings, improved operational efficiency, enhanced decision-making capabilities, more precise insights about your customers, improved customer engagement and satisfaction. And there's even cultural benefits around supporting your internal team to their highest value offering to the business, taking away some of the more mundane and rote and repetitive tasks so that they can focus on the more creative and strategic elements of what they can bring to your organization. So the big question in your mind is probably, where do I start? I have a business. This sounds great. I'm sure there's value for my business with AI, but how do I start the journey? I would say that very clearly the first step for a small to medium-sized business considering AI adoption is to assess your business needs and identify areas where AI can provide value. You essentially need to create a North Star vision and a roadmap. Create a vision of a marketing future enabled by generative AI, Gen AI, when the technology can address time, cost, and resource-intensive tasks. So to say this a different way, assess what you need to accomplish in your business, and then look at that through the lens of what AI provides. The next step is then focus on what you have in terms of assets and resources. Assess the skills and expertise within your team and your workforce. And then you're going to need to invest in training or hiring AI specialists to fill the gaps. Now, ideally, if you want to do it all in-house, you're going to develop a 3-layered team. And it gets a little bit complicated, but just quickly, layer 1 is an action group that owns and coordinates the strategy and execution of AI initiatives. Layer 2 should be made up of cross-functional pods that build and roll out individual use cases. And then layer 3 is your technical foundation team. They ensure a stable, secure platform for the use cases to build upon. Now, if all of that sounds super complicated and risky and expensive, well, it probably is. There are other options. The other option, if you decide not to take on the risk and the unknown variability of doing this internally, you could work with a partner like Brand Multiplier. So what does that look like? Well, first we start by focusing in a little bit more narrowly with our AI approach, which is specific to marketing and marketing operations. That is the most fully proven use case and set of use cases for AI in business thus far. That happens to be my background: marketing, brand strategy, storytelling. And so we marry those two things, AI, brand strategy, and have an offering that we call Brand Multiplier. So what does it look like if you're to work with us? Well, first, discovery. One of the origin stories of Brand Multiplier was to resolve many of the common pain points when working with agencies. I spent years in top global agencies, and I'm intimately familiar with all of those processes and the pain points that are created therein. So the first one is discovery could take weeks, sometimes months in the agency world with a big team of people all billing at an hourly rate. We offer our services at a fixed monthly cost, and we compress weeks of discovery into a 3-hour session called a Rumble, which is rooted in principles that are called design thinking. It was originated at Stanford University and is used at top agencies like IDEO and Frog Design. Essentially, that just means that in 3 hours, we're gathering a comprehensive data set about pretty much everything we need to know about your business, your challenges, your goals, your market, your audience, et cetera. Then we go away and distill that data set using the machines, AI, in different forms. And to be clear, ChatGPT is just one example. We have at least 8 different AI tools that we use and across all of the frontier models, including Llama, Anthropic, and GPT, of course. So we gather this comprehensive data set, we analyze the data, we distill insights and recommendations, and you get your first deliverable called Our Understanding. That essentially reflects back what we learned and understood from our session, and then gives us a way forward in terms of what we are recommending for a strategy. So then essentially fast forward, we create what's called your brand playbook, which is your North Star for all of the communications moving forward. It's all of the typical elements of a brand, your mission, your vision, et cetera, but it's much more than that. Because I've been doing this for so long, we understand how to make that document an actionable guidebook, a playbook, so that anyone who picks it up can, within 10 or 15 minutes, immediately start communicating in the voice and tone and character of your brand that is unique and specific to you. For example, the essence of the brand playbook is what's called your core strategic narrative. This is your story distilled down to its very essence that combines all of the elements that separate you from your competition and, most importantly, resonate emotionally with the group of people that are most likely to benefit from what you have to offer. That's your strategic narrative, a story that does a job. And then the next phase is your growth engine architecture, which is really just our name for a comprehensive marketing plan that is customer-centric, designed to generate measurable business results and ROI based on KPIs that we define and agree upon together. And so we take that strategic narrative. And as an example, if we identify that LinkedIn is a key platform to reach your audience, we're going to develop versions of your strategic narrative to be communicated specific to that platform. I'll add that part of our process is continued collaboration with you as the leader of your business, the visionary, and whoever other key stakeholders you might identify. We re-engage periodically each month, and I come with specific questions to try to spark a vigorous debate and discussion. I'm trying to gather insights from your mind because you know your customer and your product and your marketplace best. But because you're my client, I too have been paying close attention to what's going on in the current climate, economically, macroeconomically, and specific to your industry, as well as within the mindset and motivations of your audience. I take that data set, feed that back into the machine, and now I've essentially got a creative flywheel process that's building over time, where the machine that I'm training up on your brand is getting more and more intelligent over time because I'm continuing to feed it fresh and refined sets of data to continue that creative flywheel of producing resonant content that is contemporary, unique, and insightful. The key here is that every piece of content is delivering value to the audience to whom we are speaking. It's never content for content's sake. It's about delivering value over and over through value and insights that the audience will gain a benefit from. Instead of overtly selling, we are educating the audience about why they should care about what your brand is, and more importantly, why they should care about what you have to offer them. Another pain point when working with agencies commonly is that the client rarely gets much access directly to the senior level creative team. There are fancy song and dance presentations that happen every so often, but that's really not direct engagement. It's more about a show. So from the beginning, it's always been about me as the chief creative officer having direct collaboration and interaction with my clients over and over every time. I am the front, what did I say here? I am not only the face of this company, but I am also the person with whom you will interact and collaborate throughout the engagement. Of course, I have a team behind me. I've got a chief technology officer that's a wizard at artificial intelligence. I have a chief business officer who's all about scaling businesses, and he's done that multiple times in his past. And together, we are a combination that helps any business leverage AI and human creativity in order to grow their business strategically. I do want to share an important cautionary note. Regardless of whether you choose to do this yourself or if you choose to work with someone like us or someone else, the key with using AI and getting the best value and return on those investments is that don't think of AI as artificial intelligence. Think of the A in AI as augmented intelligence. And the intelligence that's being augmented or amplified is our own, is your own. And so the key is to use this as a set of superpowers, but not as a final output. I'll put it another way to make it super clear. The AI in our operation is never in the lead, it's in the back seat. The humans are in charge. So it's AI plus human expertise. So how do these two sort of teammates play together? The AI helps with automation, data analysis, customer segmentation, testing, optimization. But the human expertise is essential for, well, the humanity. But what does that mean? The depth of skill and dexterity with the AI tools, the taste that is unique to humans, right? Making a bunch of choices over and over because you understand how to get to the outcome best. This comes down to emotional intelligence, empathy, lived experience, sensorial experience, the things that the machines will never have, or at least not anytime soon. And so this creative flywheel between the human and the machine is the essence of getting the value and the return on integrating and deploying these tools. And just a reminder that we offer this entire combination all at a fixed monthly cost, which basically means low risk, no overhead, and a predictable cost structure that you can count on. Let's talk about methodology. I've spent 20 plus years developing a methodology that is designed to grow a business through the lens of brand strategy and storytelling. I developed this methodology through my years working at top agencies and for enterprise brands. And I took it to Accenture to be creative director of a small creative team that was custom built to help Accenture win more pitches of $10 million and up. We deployed my methodology over an 18-month period, but in the first 12 months, we brought in over $1 billion in new business for the firm. So at that point, I realized, okay, I have something here. The methodology is proven out. Now I want to return to my mission to help small to medium-sized businesses, the challenger brands, grow their business. The challenge was budget. I had a team of subject matter experts. It was not cheap. We had to bill hourly, just like all agencies do. And then AI came into the mix. And AI now essentially brings efficiency to our workflows and processes that allow us to offer enterprise-grade strategy and creative at that low fixed cost. So essentially what this means is we're going to do the thorough industry and business analysis to identify the unique challenges and opportunities that are specific to you and your business. And then we're going to tailor our services to be flexible, allowing us to adapt the solutions based on your existing internal assets and resources. The key here is that we're looking to amplify and extend the assets and resources you already have. No redundancy, no overlap. We custom flex and fit to whatever your unique situation is, what your goals are, your challenges, et cetera. One final piece here is that we're right on the cutting edge. You don't have to worry about keeping up. The AI is constantly changing. It's constantly evolving, and it will continue to do so. But we're using all of the frontier models, machine learning, and the next wave, which is called agentic AI. This is essentially a series of AI agents that orchestrate tasks together for a larger and more complicated outcome. We're going to do all of that for you. Let's talk quickly about some common risks around AI deployment with small to medium businesses. And then we'll talk about some success stories when those risks have been overcome. So in terms of risks, the first big one are integration complexities. And these essentially boil down to gaps in talent that you have internally, technical hurdles related to existing systems and processes, trying to fit those to a new technology. And then there's also a cultural fit to consider. If you have varying generations of people on your team, it can be a little bit tricky trying to adapt and deploy something so new as AI. Another key risk is over-reliance on AI. I mentioned this earlier around you need the expert human oversight and direction in order to get the best from these tools. You never want to accept what the tool gives you. It's only an initial draft that you continue to edit and refine. And then above all, the biggest risk for a small to medium-sized business looking to integrate and deploy AI in their business are cost and unknowns. Those are myriad, multifold, and it's really can be really difficult to manage and predict. So how do you mitigate that? I'll just quickly say that first, it starts with a thorough assessment. And then second, you might consider working with a partner that can help you mitigate those risks and costs. Now let's talk about what it looks like when it goes right. So I'll start with a peer-reviewed research study that was done recently that showed AI significantly impacts business processes, reducing operating costs by 26%, improving product and service quality by 30%, and this is probably most important, increasing profit margins by 20%. In our own work with our clients, we have a case study with an EdTech SMB where over a 60-day period, we increased their sales by 78%. And one of their KPIs was to increase their email subscription list, and we increased that by 91% over the same period. I'll also just mention that we work with business corporate brands, but we also work with founders, leaders of businesses to build their personal brand. This is becoming a trend in the marketplace around founder-led growth. And we have our methodology adapts well to support that. We have one case study where we helped this fintech founder. We were specifically focused on building his platform and reach on LinkedIn. And over a 90-day period, we increased his impressions by over 1,000%, and we increased his engagement by over 11,000%. So again, the methodology can be applied to a business or a founder or both. And ultimately, the idea is to mitigate your risk and cost by working with a partner who has experience doing this for businesses already. So here's the bottom line. You have a business and you want it to grow. I can help you do that. AI is part of the picture, but again, it's that combination of AI and deep human expertise. If you want to learn more about any of this, reach out to me on LinkedIn, Christopher Rubin. I've got a couple of things I can send you, a white paper on our proven methodology. I also have a handbook. It's pretty comprehensive for SMB leaders like you who might want to try to do this on your own internally. What would that look like? What's the roadmap for integrating and deploying AI within your business? Happy to talk to you about that, and DM me if you'd like any of those documents.
21st Century Entrepreneurship with Martin Piskarik.
Imagine a space where triumphs, trials, and tales of entrepreneurship come alive. Welcome to the 21st Century Entrepreneurship Podcast, a gold awarded journey hosted by Martin Piskarik, connecting with listeners in 95 countries and ranking in the top 0.5% of all podcasts. Join our exclusive community, elevate your perspective, and embark on the path to success.